Barrett-Jackson Builds is back with more episodes. We're here to give you updates on all the projects we're working on here at the Barrett-Jackson headquarters. Well, I want to give you a quick update on a very special car that we are restoring. It's a 1934 Cadillac V12 Opera Coupe, and this is car number one. This car is very significant to me. This car was restored in our family's garage in Michigan before I was even born. My parents bought this car in the late 50s. They moved here in 1960, and it was a staple going on tours. There's a picture of me in the back of the car. Back in the day when we would go on these tours with the Classic Car Club of Arizona. And as you'll find throughout builds, as you watch this, you know, when you start just working on one thing and you make it super nice and you look at what's next to it, you start unraveling the onion. So now we tore the whole car apart and we are doing a modern day restoration. We restore all sorts of cars here. We build resto mods. We're restoring my first car right now, the van, and this 1936 Bugatti Type 57 Stelvio. I want to use the Bugatti as a rally car. So the main purpose of this restoration has been go through everything, reseal everything, check everything, go through all the bearings, the brakes, make sure it's a good, safe car, and try to minimize the oil leaks. So Terry has rebuilt the entire engine in our shop. The nice thing with this car is it had, back in the era, some nice updates done to it. It was switched over from cable brakes to hydraulic brakes. It got rid of the headlights and formed them in, so it was much more updated of a Bugatti, which will make it a great rally car, and that's why we're doing it. We're showing you these projects where they are right now, and there's more full build episodes coming your way. For each of these builds, as well as the Barrett-Jackson custom 1969 Camaro that we have been building from scratch. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button below to get all the Barrett-Jackson build action. Let's go.
I was struggling a little bit with the Cadillac, so like I said previously, I've been working on trying to get the panels gapped properly to about 3/16 of an inch all around. So I think I've got the passenger door down for the most part. There's a few things I gotta do still. I gotta pull a little bit on where I welded the patch panel, and it should be done from there. However, I was struggling a little bit with the fitment on the driver's side hood hinge. The passenger side gap between the grill shell and the hood hinge is a little bit wider than it is on the driver's side, right? And so I've had to unbolt the fenders and the grill shell and the radiator where it's bolted to the chassis. I used a pry bar to try to get as much movement as I could forward, and I did a little more tweaking, and I came back to it and I tightened everything up, and I got it down to where I thought it was correct, and it was missing just a little bit of gap. I needed maybe a 1/16 more, and I took a quick break on it. I went and did something else, and while I was doing that, I thought about what I needed to do, and I went back to it, and I tried something, and it worked out. So I think I've got the gaps pretty much sorted out on the hood hinge and the rest of the vehicle. Dustin still has to take a look on it, and he's got the final say on that, so whatever he says goes, but for the moment being, I'm pretty happy with what I've got.
Hi, I'm Terry Edwards. I'm the restoration engine mechanic and transmission mechanic. And this is an engine out of Craig's 1936 Bugatti Type 57. It's a straight 8, dual overhead cam, gear drive, very interesting engine, very different. French do things very differently. And it's been a lot of fun to take it all apart and see how everything works in there and get it all back together. We'll see how it runs, and we're going to do the transmission also and get the car all back together. And then Craig will take it out and drive it and hopefully enjoy it. Well, my next adventure will be putting the differential back together. I got it all apart and everything is cleaned up and ready to go, new bearings. I'll be putting that back together, and that'll go back in the back of the car with the rear suspension. And then I'll do the transmission, which is next to go on that, and get that all nice and shifting good, and then it'll be a nice drivable car. This is just completely different. You can tell, the cars like post-World War II, cars have a certain flavor. Certain German cars are like one way, Japanese cars or British cars and Italian cars and American cars. French cars are just, oh, here's some, you guys go play outside, we'll do it our way. This is how we do it. Make sure we have oil pressure before we started. And filled up the filter. I'm going up to that neighborhood up here for some reason. Success.
The axle has been holding gear fluid for 90 years now. Because it's cast aluminum, it's porous and it kind of seeps through. So we baked them to try to get all the oil out, and then now doing a acetone bath just so we can make sure that once we put the clear on, we actually don't have any like fish eyes or anything goofy like that.